Hello and welcome to today's episode of We Rise with Alia, the podcast to help Muslim women to take back their power, to rise into their full sovereignty and to live a more joyful life. So today I am talking to you about the 5 E's of empowerment for Muslim women. So this is based on my own methodology that I call the FemPower process, which is something that I've developed over many years. So, as many of you might know, I have been on a very intense and personal spiritual journey. A journey to my own female empowerment for the last 15 years, really. And of course, I'm still learning and growing every day because that journey never ever ends, right? It only expands. But in that process, there are definitely things that I have learned and I want to share with Muslim women. And I don't want to keep it to myself. And I've seen amazing results with Muslim women when they really connect with each of these 5 E's of empowerment. I kind of wanted to call them 5 keys to empowerment. Sometimes I do, but they all begin with E. So I do love a bit of alliteration. So yeah, I've kind of now made it my mission to help other Muslim women to do what I did, basically, and find their truth, reclaim their God-given power, and just do what they love to do and live with more joy and confidence and freedom and peace, actually. Peace as well, like that peace that you get, that inner peace, knowing that what you are doing that makes you happy is not going against God. Because I think that's where a lot of our internal conflict comes from as Muslim women. It's the defining thing that we need to be at peace with is that, am I wrong for doing what I'm doing? Right. And it's so important for us to make sure that we have got that connection sorted first, right? So this isn't about living like a selfish or unspiritual life at all. It's the complete opposite. It's about aligning your spirituality with your daily life and living with freedom, but without losing your faith or your culture, because culture is deeply, deeply important to me and to most Muslim women that I know. So I know that this is like completely possible because I've done it myself. So yeah, the thing with me was that this path was really lonely. So it was long and there was a lot of pain and struggle and confusion and loneliness along the way because I was doing it without any sort of guidance or community, which is why I created my own community, the Muslim Women's Empowerment Collective. And now we've got the Rising Sisterhood. And it's just so amazing that there are all these women that are rising, that are learning how to shed all this like patriarchal and social and familial conditioning and actually get back to the truth of who they are and what God wants for us. So I want to share what I've learned because I don't want other women to suffer unnecessarily. So this is really about finding peace and power, right? Faith and freedom. It doesn't have to be a contradiction. So these 5 keys I'm going to talk to you about, or 5 E's, they basically provide like a roadmap to the transformation that I've just described. So the first one is educate. So before anything, Muslim women have to arm themselves with knowledge, right? Because knowledge is power. So I've got a PhD in Islamic feminism, and we know that we have been told a lie for centuries. What we think is Islam and what we think is, Muslim women's status in Islam, our roles is just deeply, deeply flawed. and far away from the truth that is embedded in our sacred texts, in mainly the Quran. And there is a whole debate about, the hadith, but I'm not going to get into that now. But just to say that don't be afraid to seek the truth of our divine equality, because we know that we are equal. We know our worth deep down, but we have been taught something very, very different. So it's really about reclaiming our God-given rights. So this is about educating ourselves through a feminist lens, looking at the Quran and the Hadith and everything that we have been taught, and unraveling the patriarchy from it. And really key to this, and this is what Islamic feminists do, is that they don't just look at the theory of like what things should be like in a perfect world. We hear this all the time. Oh, Islam gives women all their rights. Islam gives women all their rights. We don't need feminism because Islam gives women all their rights. Right. Okay. In a perfect world, 1400 years ago, right? Maybe. Okay. But in the grounded reality of what we experience in today's world, and the injustice of what we see being carried out in the name of religion every single day, right? We know that it is not enough to just keep parroting that line. We need to look at women's lived experience and use use the principles of Islam, of beauty, of truth, of justice, of love, of peace, of equality, right? To actually give women those rights and in a real, lived, tangible way, not just in theory. Okay. So this is basically the unlearning of patriarchal beliefs that have been sort of wrapped up to us, presented to us as Islam, and it's not. So this is quite a revolutionary and quite a revelatory process. A lot will be revealed to you about what is true and what isn't in Islam, and the processes of how we got there. So it's very, very eye-opening. It's mind-opening. And as they say, once you see, you can't unsee, right? Once you know, you can't unknow. So once you know this, right, as they say, the truth will set you free. Okay, so moving on. Number 2. So second thing that we do is express, right? So this is about actually learning to raise your voice in the name of justice so that you can be a stand for yourself and for others, right? So a lot of the time we are told as women that we need to be patient, that we need to just accept and have sabr, and that we will receive our reward in the afterlife, right? Okay. Or that Allah's watching everything and don't complain, just do your role, do your job. You're doing it for God. You're doing it for God, right? This is one of the biggest lies that we have been told. There is a real need for women to do the complete opposite and actually start complaining. Start complaining, get angry, because unexpressed anger becomes disease and bitterness, right? So we have to learn how to channel our emotions, to share how we feel, and to release it in healthy ways. Yeah. And that's for the good of all. If we keep things pent up inside of us, when we are being treated badly, when we are witnessing or experiencing injustice and pain, then there is nothing to be gained by keeping that all buried deep inside us, because that goes somewhere and it will show up somehow, right? It will show up in illness. It will show up in mental health problems. It will show up in breakdown of relationships. It will show up in you having reactivity, arguments, blow ups, because you're trying to keep everything inside, and then it will just explode at really inopportune moments. So, it is really a complete misnomer that women we need to be like peaceful all the time and calm and patient. No, sometimes our rage cannot and should not be contained. So this is really the space for you to learn how to identify and articulate what you are angry about. Where are you pissed off? How have you been treated badly? And are you ready to share that in a safe space, right? Whether that's on your own, if you want to do journaling, and, there's lots of exercises that you can do to release that. But the most powerful way is to be witnessed in your rage and your hurt. We need to be witnessed without judgment and really held in our vulnerability by other women who know and feel our pain, right? And this is deeply, deeply healing. Okay, so then we move on to evolve. So, real transformation cannot happen until we go within ourselves. So, each of us as Muslim women, we have got a wound to heal. Patriarchal conditioning has hurt us, right? So, we need to learn how to fully love ourselves, like unconditionally, as sovereign and whole and complete beings. So this is around committing to your personal development, your emotional and relational healing, right? Being brave enough to do that deep inner work, right? Even facing our own shadows. And this is where we take what we have learned in like the educate and express elements. Like we've learned how the patriarchy has hurt us. We have expressed how it has affected us personally. And then we do the work of healing. It's not just enough to like know. It's not just enough to just talk. We actually have to go within and undertake that process of transformation. And this is really how you take your power back, because this is when you move out of victim mode, right, into being the creator of your own reality. So you know what you don't want. I don't want to do that anymore. This is not serving me. You also have an idea of how your life could be, because we've looked at what the model of an egalitarian Islam could be and what that could mean for your life. So this is where we start to create something new. And it starts with changing ourselves. It starts with us recognizing our divine worth, right? Working on our self-worth, our self-esteem. Stop accepting crumbs and actually demand a seat at the table. Take that seat. You are the queen of your own life. You don't need permission from anyone else. And this is deeply powerful work. So the fourth pillar is embody. Ooh, okay, so this is really about women healing the relationship that they have with their feminine bodies, because we have been shamed out of our feminine womanly bodies for too long, for centuries, thousands of years. And especially Muslim women, we have a really weird relationship with our femininity, with our bodies. There is so much guilt and shame around women being fitna, right? So really think about how you feel about being a woman, how you feel about the body that you live in, day out. If you have been conditioned to believe that you are a fitna, that there is something fundamentally dangerous, evil, or wrong about you and you being visible and just existing in society, right? Just think about what that does to your psyche. And so, one aspect of this embody pillar is about healing that relationship with our feminine bodies. And the best way to do that is to learn about our bodies, right? So a huge part of this is learning to understand our health, our bodies, our wombs, the things that make us uniquely feminine. And then you'll learn to love and trust and enjoy your woman's body and its intuition and its cycles, right? And then you'll learn to love and trust yourself. And that will help you become the authority in your own life. So these things are all connected, right? These ease of empowerment, right? They are all connected and they build on each other, and they help you to eventually, unlock this greater balance and this vitality and this health. Because without our bodies, right, being in a good place and being healthy and vibrant, we can't really do all the other things that we want to in our lives, and we're not actually living in our fully expressed selves. So centering self-care, centering our well-being, actually saying, no, my body matters, right? Okay, is saying my body matters is saying I matter. Learning about how your body functions, right, and putting that first is a huge way of upsetting the patriarchy, basically, that wants women to stay self-sacrificing, to stay overgiving and overburdened and overworked and exhausted, and not have any time for themselves, because that is the best way to keep them subjugated, to keep us down. If we can't even have time for ourselves to read a book or take rest when we're on our periods, we're too busy serving, looking after our families, looking after men, putting ourselves last as always. And sadly, that is what the patriarchy wants, and that is what they have trained us to think is right. So, okay, the last one is elevate. Oh, and do you know what? This is truly the heart and the soul of this whole fempower process. So, elevate is a return to those higher values of love, beauty, truth, justice, and unity, Tawheed in Islam. And this is where we make room for the mystical and the esoteric in our everyday lives through meditation and prayer and contemplation and silence and stillness. So this is all about our connection to God, right? And this is where we also find the divine feminine Islam, because that is something that has been overshadowed by the more masculine traits of Allah. And actually, we need to connect more deeply and openly with those divine feminine aspects. So we connect with nature, with the cosmos, and with Allah's feminine attributes. So these teachings and practices will, creaky chair, will help open your heart. Really, this is about coming back to your heart center and remembering that original connection. And this is what will take you to the next level of your personal evolution and revolution, right? Because it is a revolution. Women who are confident and free and grounded in their faith and deeply, deeply assured that they are loved by God, and that God is a presence in their life that no one can take away from them. So it doesn't matter if someone says this is wrong or that is wrong. Your connection to God is so powerful and so strong and so consistent, right, that you don't need permission from anyone else, and you don't need to look outside of yourself for answers, because you have worked on deepening that trust and that conversation that you have with your maker. And this is something that you cannot learn from books, right? This is experiential. You can't even put a name on it. Like, it's hard to describe because it is esoteric. It's you experience it, right? You don't understand it, you don't learn it, you do it and you feel it. It's a felt experience. So yeah, Elevate is all about returning to your soul and nurturing your relationship with God, and really, really finding that deep sense of peace and contentment. So, okay, those are the 5 E's of empowerment. I actually have so much more to say on all of them. Like, I feel like I only just like scratched the surface and didn't really go deeply into what all of them can offer. They are all multifaceted and there is so much depth in there, but basically that is those 5 key elements. If you want to know more, then please click on links below. And yeah, I hope that you are encouraged to start your own journey to your own evolution and revolution, as an empowered Muslim woman, and know that it is absolutely possible to live that free and empowered life without losing your faith. So please join us in the Muslim Women's Empowerment Collective, link below. It's a free Facebook group. And then if you feel called, you can join us in the Rising Sisterhood as well, which is a super, super low price offer at the moment because we are in our pre-launch phase. So there is a special offer running, and if you join, you'll lock that price in for life, before we do our proper launch, and you'll be helping us as well because we are shaping this community to really help serve Muslim women, and we want you to be part of that. So yeah, if you feel called, again, links below, and please share this with a Muslim woman that you feel could benefit from hearing about this. Please please subscribe. This is a new channel. I really appreciate all of you listening, so please like and subscribe, and let's keep this community growing. Okay, thank you so much and see you next time.